I'm Rex Paradox, the greatest man who ever lived, and this is a little retrospective video on Devil May Cry and the controversy back in the day with Nero. If you played Devil May Cry 4 when it came out, and like you were on the internet then, you know, like with the community, like people hated Nero, dude. They fucking hated Nero. Like people just straight up hated Nero. And I'm talking about that. Here we go. So when Devil May Cry 4 came out, you're introduced to this new character. And he's the main character. And that's Nero. And people were mad because Nero wasn't like Dante. He just straight up, like none of Nero's qualities are like Dante. Nero's not like this super cocky jerk. This super cocky asshole who does not give a fuck. That's not Nero. That's Dante. And I love Dante. But like, Nero should be his own character. And people wanted Nero to be like Dante. My issue with Nero was the fact that he didn't get any extra weapons. When you had Yamato, you could only use it for a certain amount of time. He had his arm, his pistol, and Red Queen. That was it. I guess the pistol's called Blue Rose. It doesn't matter. He had a gun, a sword, and his motherfucking arm. And like, that's the basic shit. But like, when you get to Dante, gameplay-wise, Dante can use a bunch of weapons. He has a bunch of fucking swords. He's got a bunch of guns. He's got gauntlets and shit. He's got all kinds of crazy shit. All kinds of crazy-ass abilities. And Nero doesn't have any of that shit. That's my issue with Nero. But people's issue with Nero was that, other people's issue with Nero is that he didn't have a lot of character. But I'm like, again, he's a different character. His motivations for being in this story are completely different from Dante. Nero's out here to save this girl. Like, I really don't understand the relationship between Nero and Kyrie. I guess he's like, I don't really understand it. It's like he's sweet on her or some shit. I always assumed he was like trying to make her a girlfriend, trying to make him her girlfriend. Yeah, I botched the shit out of that. I assume he was sexually attracted to her. There you go. He was trying to hit them cheeks, whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's like, the whole thing with Nero is that he's trying to save her throughout the game. After a certain point in the story. It's like he's out there hunting demons and shit. He's trying to make sure she's safe. That's a better way to explain it. At some point she gets kidnapped and he's like, I need to save this woman. So there you go there. I feel like it's a romantic relationship between the two of them. I'm not 100% sure, because it's not a fucking lot of story with Devil May Cry for some reason that they just straight up give to you. You gotta go out and find it. I'm like, come on, man. But people were mad at Nero because he wasn't, you know, balls to the walls like Dante was. And I'm like, do you really want two characters doing that? I mean, Nero was a less powerful version of Dante. I feel like his character is more grounded too. Like, realistically, his character is more grounded. Because he's not like all fucking crazy ass G Fuel, ridiculously overpowered like Dante is. He's not like completely human, but he has limitations. I don't know if Dante has limitations. Nobody, like, the nigga can fly sometimes. Nero can't do that shit. Growing up, Nero was fucking, he didn't embrace anything about himself. I don't even know if he thought that, like, I have no idea if Nero knew that he could get stabbed before he got stabbed in Devil May Cry 4. Like, Dante gets stabbed, he's like, okay, whatever the fuck. He gets stabbed, he's like, oh shit, that shit hurt. Dante's just like, hey, whatever, you know? Go back and play Devil May Cry 4. I'm like, first time Nero really gets stabbed in a cutscene, he's like, oh shit, that hurt. He's like, oh damn. Right? And I'm like, as far as I know, he was just a regular human with like the weird arm before it. I can't say he was like regular, but like, you know, he's more human than Dante is perceived to be. Dante gets stabbed, it's like, just a Tuesday for me, man. Nero gets stabbed, he's like, oh shit, this hurt. Like, again, they're different characters. The way that they've been brought up, seemingly, I can't say because it's not a lot of backstory with Nero, but the way that they're brought up in the story is completely different. Like, Nero's at a church one day. Like, this dude's probably been going to church his whole life. Dante's just out here fucking running the streets and shooting demons and shit. Now, Nero's a demon hunter too. But like the circumstances are way different from Dante. When you play the game for the first time, like Nero doesn't even use his arm. He's been keeping his, he has it in the fucking cast. Like he's afraid to show it to people. Dante don't give a fuck. But it's like the visual difference, because Nero can't, his arm isn't a human arm. Dante's arm looks like a human arm. Nero's arm looks like it's in Devil Trigger mode, like the whole time. It's just like, Nero was never meant to be Dante. And I feel like moving into Devil May Cry 5, they tried to make him a little bit more like Dante. And you know, I get it, like he's probably been hunting demons longer. His personality's probably changed. He's embraced some of his heritage, even though, you know, he lost his motherfucking arm. That's not even a spoiler, that's just, you know, that's how the game's going. He lost his arm, but he's loosened up a little bit. Probably a lot. He's not going to church anymore. I know that sounds weird, but he's not doing it. He's doing him now. And maybe that was his character the whole time. Maybe it was just the circumstances. Like, motherfuckers hate Nero. Don't forget that shit. It took them to reboot the game to be like, oh, I'm so glad to see Nero's back. You go check out like the original Devil May Cry 5 trailer, and people were in the comments like, oh, I'm so glad Nero's back. And it's like, I'm glad Nero's back too. I didn't hate Nero. I never had a real issue with Nero's other than his gameplay. His personality was fine to me. Now, personally, some of that's based on like the fact that Nero's voice by Johnny Young Bosch, I think I'm saying his name right, probably am. You know, the same guy who plays Ichigo, who's like my favorite Jump character, and it's like their stories are really similar. Like the Devil May Cry 4 story and the Wake Up Mundo arc, like they pretty similar. So you know, like that's another reason I like Nero. But his character was never meant to be like Dante. And people just seem to have forgot that shit. Like, motherfuckers hated Nero back in the day. They were like, he's boring. I'm like, he's just a different character. You can't have two characters who balls to the walls the whole story, dude. It's just not going to work. I hope Nero's still somewhat grounded in Devil May Cry 4. Yeah, it seems like he's cracking more jokes like he's Dante, but I'm like, it's still, he's not, you know, all fucking OP and super powerful. Yet. He might get there. I don't know. I mean, he got manhandled by Virgil, so, or would we assume to be Virgil? So, you know, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I'm sure there'll be some character in Devil May Cry 5 that people just like, I don't like that guy. Maybe it'll be V, I don't know. It'll be some character. When the game actually comes out, not now. When it actually comes out, they're gonna be like, I don't like this motherfucker. Get rid of this guy. Like, maybe V's the replacement for Virgil. Like, that ain't Virgil. People will be like that. I don't know. It's always something with gaming communities. Just, like, calm the fuck down. Just remember, motherfuckers hated Nero back in the day. So if it's some Devil May Cry 5 character the motherfuckers hate, there you go. And I'm Rex Paradox, the greatest man who ever lived. Remember, the Moonlander was fake. Always take candy from strangers. And I'm out of here. Goodbye. Rex Paradox here, your resident cowboy, and I'm telling you to come on over to my Twitch stream over at Rex Paradox at TwitchTV.com, motherfucker. We got RPGs, we got shooting games, we got all kinds of crazy shit you probably never seen before, maybe you have, I don't know. If you don't like it, you can fuck me in the ass with a pitchfork. Nigga. Yeehaw!